Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you're doing very well. It's been a little while since I filmed and uploaded anything. I got a little bit overwhelmed by life, but also I got engaged, which is super exciting. So it's been a summer of celebration and love and busyness, and it's just been pretty non-stop. But I did get some reading done. I'm thrilled to announce. So I'm just gonna go through all the books that I read in no particular order, and I'm gonna let you know if I like them or not. Let's do it. I think that we should just start with the most hyped, which is Carrie Soto is Back. Baby by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read this, I devoured this in the space of about 3 days or something ridiculous. I'm not a fast reader, so that is unprecedented for me. This follows Carrie Soto, who is a retired tennis player, and she comes back onto the scene. She returns to tennis to protect her title of like the most wins, basically. I can't get over how much she made me care about tennis. What the hell is that about? Amazing, truly remarkable. I absolutely loved the character of Carrie Soto. She's so interesting. I absolutely love the fact that she's just obsessed with winning and she's the opposite of a people pleaser. It's such a refreshing perspective to read from. She literally does not care about how anyone perceives her. She just cares about success and winning. And it's so interesting to read from that perspective. I loved it. It was just, everything about this for me was like a breath of fresh air, which might be an overused term, but I stand by it. So I'm not gonna say anything else about this. I just wholeheartedly recommend it, and I gave it 5 out of 5. And Taylor Jenkins Reid continues to be one of my absolute faves. How does she do it? I would love to know. Okay, next. Another super hyped book at the moment, of course, is I'm Glad My Mum Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I was very lucky to grab a copy of this from work. So happy about it. It's so beautiful. This follows Jeanette McCurdy, who was a child actor growing up under the scrutiny of a narcissistic mother, with all the pressures that are felt by child actors, but there's a lot in there. I definitely recommend looking at the trigger warnings. Of course, it is incredible and I do wholeheartedly recommend it, but it's hard to read at times, and she really delves into it a lot. She's very generous with her life and herself and everything that she's experienced. It's just a remarkable memoir. I think it's an amazing read and an important read, and definitely an uncomfortable and sometimes disturbing read, but nonetheless, oh my gosh, I just so recommend this. Of course, everybody is recommending this, and I think that's with good reason. 5 stars, amazing. Another book that I read that I wasn't so keen on was Paradise by Fernanda Melchor. Still don't know how to say it, but it was translated by Sophie Hughes. I think it's about 200 pages. Oh no, it's not. It's literally like 120 pages. So I assumed it was going to be a super quick read. It's not really, because it's quite dense. The text is not really broken up at all. It's just like solid stream of consciousness, so it's actually quite a heavy read. This follows 2 teenage boys living in Mexico. We follow mostly the perspective of Polo. He's living in a really difficult situation at home and he hates his job and he's just desperate to escape his life in a situation. This book is tricky because it's so well written, and like, I've got to make that clear. I think that Fernanda Melchor is amazing. There's absolutely no denying her skill or her talent, but there's something about reading a book that is this. The 2 teenage boys in this are just misogynistic to a point. It's quite difficult to read. It's not an enjoyable time. It's kind of uncomfortable. This book is just like a torrent of anger and dissatisfaction. Every sentence and every paragraph is just like deeply full of rage. It really like shouts off the page, and it's so impressive. So I think I gave this 3.5, but at the end of the day, I didn't enjoy it, and I was quite happy when it was over, which I think says a lot. So a tricky one, but very glad that I read it. If it sounds like it's your cup of tea, give it a go. Next on my pile is Earthlings by Sayaka Murata, which I simply just don't know how to talk about. This follows a girl called Natsuki from a young age who basically feels so kind of detached and isolated from society that she believes that she is an alien and a magician. And I'm just gonna leave it there, but I do recommend looking up trigger warnings. I don't really know how to talk about this other than to say that if you like books that descend into total madness and chaos, you'll probably have a fun time with this? I think I did. I'm still unsure. I don't really know. I do think that Siaka Murata had some really interesting commentary and interesting things to say about the expectations that are placed on us in modern society nowadays. I think there was some really good stuff in there, so I really appreciated that. But generally, I don't know what the hell happened here. Look it up, look up the trigger warnings, decide for yourselves. I gave this 4 out of 5, and I think I'm glad that I did. Yeah, let's say yeah. Okay, next, my friends. I read The American Roommate Experiment by Eleanor Armas. Oh my goodness, I read a proof of this a little while ago and I kept my little mouth shut about it, but I was so excited because I love the Spanish love deception, and this is such a sweet romance. This is such a lovely little joy to read. This follows Rosie and Lucas, who are forced to live in a New York apartment together because of circumstances that I won't go into. I just love Eleanor Armas's romances. I think she gets it. She gets me. I think this, in comparison to the Spanish Love Deception, is a little bit more sweet, a little bit more fluffy. It still has very good steam, but generally their relationship is just super warm, very, very comforting. I think I did prefer the Spanish Love Deception just because romance is such a personal thing. I don't know if I could even delve into why, but I think I preferred their dynamic to Rosie and Lucas's dynamic, but nonetheless, I gave this 4 stars and I thought it was a really, really lovely read. Next, an absolute stunner. I read Beautiful World Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I had only read Normal People before this, so I wasn't sure what I was going to think about this, but oh my gosh, this has cemented Sally Rooney as an author that I just think is amazing. This follows 2 very different romantic relationships between 2 couples in their early 30s, and it's just so well done, so well observed. I think that Sally Rooney's writing is just kind of unparalleled. Before I knew it, I was absolutely obsessed with this and so invested in all of the characters. They're all so different, but they're also believable. They're so fascinating to read about. Their interactions just feel so real and so authentic. I kind of love that Sally Rooney's written this book almost like a love letter to literature about love and friendship and the value that that holds within our lives. It's basically everything. It's almost everything. So I love that, and I love this book, and I gave it 5 stars. Thank you, Sally. We love you. Next, we have Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. This was one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and oh my gosh, it did not disappoint me. This follows 2 married women, one of which goes on a deep ocean exploration and her submarine gets stuck, basically, and she's stranded under the ocean for 6 months, and her wife is left on land wondering what the heck happened. So we follow that thread of the story, and then we also follow the aftermath of when the woman returns from her exploration back to land, and she is simply not the same. And we basically witness the disintegration and breakdown of this marriage due to things just not being the same when she returns, because she is not the same woman. Oh my god, it's just so fascinating. I absolutely love Julia Armfield. She writes with such a slow, deliberate hand. This book is almost entirely about grief. The writing is incredible. It's very, very slow, but I kind of love that. So if you're looking for a really thoughtful, interesting, unique book about grief, then I honestly think this is the one for you. It's also slightly spooky, but it's not a horror novel. I think it's sometimes in horror novel lists, but I wouldn't describe it as such. But it's a beautiful time, and I gave it 4.5 out of 5. I think it's great. And I love Julia Armfield until I die. We have 2 more books. The first one is Heartstopper Volume 2. What can I say about this other than you all know how amazing Heartstopper is? It's beautiful. If you don't like Heartstopper, then I can relate to you. I can't actually explain how much this made me cry. I'm almost embarrassed about how much I cried. It's just such a beautiful story. I just can't think of anything like this series that's so welcoming, so open, so kind. Thank God Alice Oseman wrote it, because I think we really needed it. I gave it 5 stars. How could I not? It's Heartstopper. I can't wait to read Volume 3. I'm very slowly working my way through them because I don't want to rush through them all because I just think they're so perfect. So what a time. Lastly, my friends, we have Scarlet by Marissa Meyer, which was a reread. I've read this so many times. You might be able to tell from my copy. She's seen better days. This was my favourite book in the series for a long time. It is no longer my favourite book. It actually might even be my least favourite book, but I do still love it. It has my whole heart. I love these characters more than I could possibly say. Also, I'm going to put up the new Fairy Loot. Is it Fairy Loot? Special editions, the Lunar Chronicles. Oh my god, look at them. Why is everyone trying to take my money? Stop it. Anyway, I gave this 5 stars. I have nothing more to say. It's just my favourite series of all time. I read them when I'm having a bad time and they help me through it. And they make me feel like I'm safe. So with that, what a lovely ending. I read that many books this summer. I think it's 11? I don't know. But thank you so much for joining me. Before I leave, I'm just going to show you what I'm currently reading because it is the most good looking currently reading pile I've possibly ever had. Look at them. They're ridiculous. Okay, so the first one is Babel or Babel by R.F. Kuang. Please tell me how to say it. I just don't know. I don't know how to say it. Does anyone know how to say it? I certainly don't. But I'm not very far through this. I think it's going to be great, but I think I will probably take my time with it. Whereas Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray, I don't think I will take my time with because it's utterly incredible and everything that I love and everything that I'm in the mood for. This is the second book in the Diviner series that I've never read before. I'm so excited about it. In this book, the villain, John Hobbs, is infiltrating people's dreams and it's so scary and I'm obsessed with it for this time of year. It's super spooky, it's everything that I want, it's everything that I love. I'm just so excited about it, and that is everything. So I'm gonna let you go, but first, please let me thank you for joining me in this video, because I know I've been gone a while, and I really, really appreciate you sticking with me and watching my videos, as you clearly are. It means a lot, so let me know what you've been reading and what you read over the summer, and I will see you soon.